don't know what the weather is going to be like around here. I do get really anxious during storms.
That's why they chose Hailguard. When performance leads, confidence follows. Backed by the first and only asphalt shingle system with a hail warranty.
That just gives us more peace of mind.
This is the only asphalt product on the market that has the manufacturer warranty targeting the hail damage, and it gives me a lot of confidence as a contractor.
Engineered for enhanced impact performance. Built to protect homes and reputations. Hailguard shingles. Built for hail.
Hey there, crew. It is 1:15 here on Tuesday afternoon. I am Matt Meister. This is Peaks to Plains weather, and we are going to jump right into a flash flood warning that has been issued for the Aspen Acres fire here. We'll take you to Tamco live radar. Tamco responsible and, bringing us our thunderstorm coverage here on Peaks to Plains weather. I'm going to take you off to the southwestern part of Pueblo County, in the eastern part of Crowley County, or Custer County, excuse me, where we have a storm that has moved through over the last 30 minutes that kind of scooted over the western part of the fire. And I've got the rain on here over the last hour, and the part of the fire that's west of Highway 165 that is been burning up towards St. Charles Peak is the area that has seen the heaviest rain with this storm. And I want to measure for you how much rain has been in there off to the west of Fairview. It's been between 0.8 and about 1.2 inches of rain. That's important to know because these drainages here are coming out of some of the steeper terrain associated with the fire here. And so the flash flood warning encompasses the central parts of the fire, does include Beulah, but really it's some of the drainages to the south of there that I think are most impacted by this storm that hit the fire and kind of lost a little bit of oomph. So it was bringing the heaviest rain kind of as it was just getting into western sections of the fire. So some of the creeks that are most impacted here, Willis Creek, which flows into the St. Charles River, Willow Creek in there as well. I do think South Creek could be impacted. That does flow toward the Beulah area and Beulah Valley, but it's these drainages that flow into the St. Charles River that I am most concerned about. It's also the area where we have some moderate rain that is still ongoing. So these are the spots that if you are in this area, you should be aware here of the potential for rising waters over the next 30 to 90 minutes. And I want to tilt down now and take a look at the fire here, give you some additional perspective about why these drainages, Willow Creek in particular and Willis Creek, are the ones that we are watching. I'm going to kind of spin us around out of the northwest now and see how that is some of the higher terrain of the fire where it is driving up towards St. Charles Peak. And then, of course, the chicken foot that is on the extreme left-hand side of the screen here. But really, it's those drainages that flow into the St. Charles River that we are going to watch most closely. The flash flood warning is up for several hours. That's how my friends at the Weather Service have been doing that. It takes a while for the drainages to respond and to move all of the water. And so this is in effect until 4 o'clock. So if you are in this area, just be aware. Middle part of the Aspen Acres fire. If you are in a low spot, the easiest thing to do, if you start to see a bunch of burnt trees moving your way and a flash flood or a debris flow is in the process of forming, just seek higher ground, head up the hillsides. That's the easiest thing to do if you're caught in an immediate life-threatening situation. There are other storms that are out there this afternoon, and I want to take a look at those while I have us all together here, because over the eastern plains of Colorado, sitting along the Arkansas River, out across the eastern parts of the Palmer Divide, we have dew points that are above 60 degrees, and everybody else east of the mountains is well into the 50s this afternoon. Well, watch how storms have been strengthening over about the last hour and 15 minutes across eastern Douglas County, southwestern Elbert County, and northeastern El Paso County. These storms are moving into an area that is going to allow the storms to continue. And so we are going to keep a close eye on this area here through the afternoon because the storms are moving into an environment that is going to allow them to kind of strengthen here over the next hour or two. They'll continue to produce some heavy rain, and we'll see the potential for some wind gusts around 60 miles per hour develop. Those storms have already put the downdrafts with those storms have already produced outflow boundaries. So we'll keep an eye on those, but they're going to roll east through the afternoon. And so as they approach Lyman and get along and south of Interstate 70, they're just going to become more capable of producing some damaging wind gusts. We'll also see areas over the plains that have been quiet thus far start to see some thunderstorm activity. So Pueblo, we may catch some through the afternoon and out across the plains as well. But again, the most likely area to see a severe thunderstorm warning or two due to some damaging wind. In fact, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued, is across the eastern plains of Colorado. So let's focus on the severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued here for northeast El Paso County. This is between Calhan and Rush. And you can see this little thin line that kind of curves back toward Yoder. That's an outflow boundary, and that's what we're watching for. This storm may also have the potential to produce some hail around a ½ inch or 3/4 of an inch in diameter. But I think the bigger issue today is for thunderstorm wind gusts that could be around 60 miles per hour. So this storm here over eastern El Paso County, the warning does include the Rush area. The main part of the storm is off to the northwest of Rush, in effect until the top of the hour. The storm is located, the heart of it, about 8 miles off to the northwest of Rush. The storm is moving off to the east, kind of northeast, very slowly, at only about 10 miles per hour. This storm could also bring us some hail for the next 10 or 15 minutes. Like I said, around 3/4 of an inch or so in diameter, maybe approaching an inch. It's got a pretty strong core right now. I think that'll actually weaken here over the next 15 minutes. But it's also going to produce some strong damaging wind gusts if you are in this area. So let me show you that here, and we'll measure what the wind is doing right now with this storm. And you can see the outflow with it off to the south here. This is the rain-cooled air with the storm that has rushed out in advance of the storm and has moved across Highway 94 already. Might play a role in developing some new thunderstorm activity here this afternoon. On the leading edge of this, we're measuring some wind that's up around 30 miles per hour or so. Keep in mind that we can only measure the wind along the radar beam. So if it has any component of motion that's across the beam, it's tough for us to measure that here. But one of the things we'll watch is for the continuation of this storm to keep producing outflow. And there are some other strong storms that are off to the north and northwest as well. So there are a couple outflow boundaries we're watching here. There's kind of a big one developing just like that. And then if we move up farther to the north, we will see some outflow move southward toward Colorado Springs. As all of these storms move off to the northeast, they're just going to get stronger here. So there's a storm to the south of Simla right now. We'll keep an eye on that for you guys. Let me put this in motion over the last hour and show you that, as I said, the storms are moving very, very slow. So that's one of the concerns that we have, in addition to the strong wind gusts today, is the potential for heavy rain. And you may get a ½ inch to an inch if one of these storms that's out there this afternoon moves overhead. We have one in the vicinity of Calhan as well that is sort of strengthening right on top of town. And that one may make a run toward the Simla area. We also have storms in southwestern Elbert County that are going to move toward Highway 86 over the course of the afternoon as well. Strongest right now, right on the Douglas and Elbert County line, just to the north of Palmer Divide Road, up on the north end of El Paso County. Strongest part of the storm off to the east of Highway 83, as you can see there. So we'll keep an eye on that. We will keep an eye on the flash flood concerns a little bit farther to the south, where we have a flash flood warning that is in effect for the Aspen Acres fire for the next several hours. So that's in effect through 4 o'clock. And there may be some other thunderstorms that hit the burn area today. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. We aren't going to get the strongest storms of the day in this area. As I said, those are a little more likely off to the northeast, but we have had some pretty good rain that is near or a little bit over an inch on the part of the fire that is burning towards St. Charles Peak, there to the west of Highway 165. So in particular, Willow Creek heads up, Willis Creek heads up, and maybe also some of the drainages that head into Squirrel Creek, Davenport Creek, and Squirrel Creek itself could see a rise of waters here over the next little bit. But that storm, as it has moved through, has been falling apart and weakening. So the south end of the fire, not as concerned about flash flood risks, as that storm does have movement with it right now. I'll keep an eye on that for you, though. I do want to let you know through the afternoon, as we continue to watch the storms that are out there, as we do different updates, you have the ability, and I encourage you to join us here on Peaks to Plains Weather. There are a couple of ways that you can do that. We've got links here that you can put into the browser on your phone. And if you are in a safe place, you can go outside and you can show us what's happening where you are, or if a strong storm has moved over your area, you can show us, what the storm did. If you've got some wind damage, or if you see the storm off to the east of you, vmix.at, zmSjK, the S and K are capitalized, and vmix.at/1RJSL1, the J and S are capitalized. I encourage you to put one of those into your phone as a contact for Peaks to Plains Weather, so you can use it at a moment's notice if something happens today or in the future, and you want to take part in our weather together and help your neighbors know what's happening out here. So before I let you go, we'll get a kind of larger view of the radar one more time. This is Tamco Live Radar. You can see that we have additional storms back over the mountain areas, some developing west of I-25, west of Walsenburg and Trinidad on the Highway of Legends, but by far the strongest storms off to the northeast of Colorado Springs this afternoon. So it'll be a busy next 6 hours or so as the storms will roll off to the east. Everything being driven by a wave in the atmosphere this afternoon and a lot of water in the air. So if a storm hits you, you're going to get some welcome rain. We'll keep an eye on some of the storms, maybe producing some hail, certainly producing some strong gusty wind here, in particular those storms over the Palmer Divide that are moving through Elbert County and in the process of moving toward Lincoln County, and some of the other counties off to the east, Kit Carson and Cheyenne County, may have some of the stronger storms of the day to deal with as well. That's where we sit right now on Peaks to Plains Weather, our weather together. We will keep an eye on the storm in northeastern El Paso County and the flash flood warning over the Aspen Acres burn scar. Thanks for being with us here on this Tuesday afternoon, and we'll be back as more storms roll across the region through the rest of the day.
I'm Catherine.
And I'm Dewey, here with another Waterwise tip.
During summer, do you know why we water up to 3 days a week?
To make the best use of me.
Exactly. It builds deeper, stronger roots and makes your lawn more resilient.
Also, use the cycle and soak method. Try shorter cycles with breaks in between to reduce runoff.
And in spring or fall, you can water 1 or 2 days per week. Be Waterwise and your lawn will thrive.
Now that's Waterwise. Learn more at csu.org/Waterwise.